Hola, buenos noches, and good evening. This is your weekly news report, and I'm your host, Pedro. North Korea launched suspected ballistic missiles toward the sea on Tuesday in apparent weapons tests, according to its neighbors, as the North heightens animosities with rival South Korea ahead of a major political meeting. Japan's Prime Minister's office and Defense Ministry said North Korea fired possible ballistic missiles. South Korea's Defense Ministry said it detected the launch of at least one unidentified projectile off North Korea's east coast. Tuesday's launch came after North Korea recently threatened retaliation over what it called South Korean surveillance drone flights across the border, one earlier in January and another in September. Earlier this month, North Korea said it performed test flights of hypersonic missiles. Kim observed the launches and underscored the need to bolster the country's nuclear war deterrent. North Korea in December test-fired what it called long-range strategic cruise missiles and new anti-air missiles and released photos showing the apparent construction of its first nuclear-powered submarine. North Korea aimed to demonstrate or review its achievements in the weapons development sector ahead of the Party Congress. Now here's Rafa with our next top story.
Measles in South Carolina has spread to at least 789 people, surpassing the 2025 West Texas outbreak that sickened 762 people and killed 2 young girls. The majority of cases remain centered in Spartanburg County, mostly among people who were either unvaccinated or didn't know their status, the South Carolina Department of Public Health reported Tuesday. There have been 89 new cases confirmed since Friday, a clear sign that the outbreak isn't under control. As many as 557 people in South Carolina are in quarantine for 21 days following measles exposures. South Carolina's outbreak has exploded at a dizzying pace. The first cases were reported in late September and picked up steam during the holidays. By January, cases directly linked to the state had been documented in California, North Carolina, and Washington. Several other probable cases were reported in Ohio. The South Carolina milestone comes as the U.S. teeters toward losing its measles elimination status. That could occur as soon as this fall if it's determined that the virus originated from a single source and continued to circulate for a full year. Now we send it back to Pedro for our next top story.
Catherine O'Hara, the virtuosic comedic actor best known for her performances in the Christmas classic Home Alone, the mockumentary Best in Show, and the cult hit sitcom Schitt's Creek, died Friday at her home in Los Angeles after a brief illness. She was 71. In an entertainment career spanning more than 50 years, O'Hara excelled at playing characters who were cartoonishly larger than life but recognizably human, theatrically vain but ultimately endearing. Performing and writing on the landmark show Second City Television before ascending to Hollywood. Stardom with roles in high-profile movies like Tim Burton's Beetlejuice. In 2021, O'Hara received the Governor General's Performing Arts Award, the most prestigious honor bestowed on Canadian performers. She kicked off the 1990s with one of her most enduring performances. As Macaulay Culkin's mom in Home Alone, a staple of holiday season TV, she reprised the role in a sequel, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, released in 1992. O'Hara is survived by her husband, production designer B.O. Welsh, and 2 children. Now we send it back to Pedro.
The Justice Department on Friday released an avalanche of long-awaited investigative files relating to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The new document dump dwarfed the 2 earlier Epstein file releases and included more than 3.5 million pages, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said during a press conference. That constituted about half of the more than 6 million Epstein-related documents the DOJ collected. The release includes large quantities of commercial pornography and images that were seized from Epstein's devices, some of which were taken by Epstein. Trump has denied any wrongdoing and has not been accused of or charged with any crimes related to Epstein, but he and Epstein were fast friends until they had a falling out nearly 20 years ago. Also in the newly released documents were emails from 2012 and 2013 that showed Epstein had invited top Trump ally Elon Musk to his private island. In the newly released documents, there were also email exchanges between Epstein and Howard Lutnick, now Trump's Commerce Secretary, about plans to visit Epstein's island with his wife during Christmas in 2012. In addition to being enormous in quantity, the new Epstein material released Friday was late. More on this story as more information continues to be released. Now here's Ariana with a look at this week's forecast.
Hello everyone, I'm your Chief Meteorologist, Ariana, with a look at your weather forecast for the week ahead. Persistent cold temperatures are expected across much of the eastern U.S. for the coming week. An amplified upper-level flow pattern will remain in place across the continental U.S. through next week. Mainly light snow showers are expected from the Great Lakes to the Ohio Valley through midweek. Showers and thunderstorms from the western Gulf Coast to the deep south is expected this week. Well below average temperatures will continue for a large portion of the eastern U.S., mainly across the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Another cold front will bring a return of dangerously cold temperatures from the Great Lakes to the Northeast by next weekend. Across the western U.S., the theme of mild conditions and lack of significant rain or snow is expected to continue going into the coming week. This will cause worsening drought conditions in many areas with no precipitation expected, at least for the coming week. Temperatures across the southwestern deserts region will continue to be very pleasant and mild for this time of year. Now, here's a look at your 7-day forecast for the Phoenix, Arizona area. We'll see very mild temperatures for the entire week, with sunny conditions forecast for every day this week. Temperatures will range anywhere from the mid-70s to around 80 degrees for the entire week, with lows in the low 50s. Now, we send it back to Pedro.
That will do it for this week's weekly news report. As always, thank you for watching and have a great week. Como siempre, gracias por ver el video y que tengáis una buena semana.